Welcome everybody. It is Friday, no, Friday, the Thursday. I'm wishing the week away. I'm wishing the week away. I'm supposed to be off to Barcelona this weekend, but let's wait and see. Depends on the weather. We're going to make a last minute decision, but yes, and so right, everything's working. Chat is working. I'm just going to hide it for a minute. So, one thing that I just wanted to go over yesterday was a good. I did do a video in the group. Was gold. Now we had. If I just play around with this a little bit, so we had. I think our entry was like, yeah, where were we? So 17. There we go. Right. We were probably our entry was about here, right? And our, thing was, say hypothetically something like this. And I always think a trade which goes against you, that's the best one to obviously test where your trading and head is actually at. All right. Where are you in your kind of journey in regards to management? Because it's going to be the bad days which are going to dictate how your account is growing, not the good days, which is surprising. All right. And like I mentioned for everyone yesterday, lots of you took my advice and it was brilliant. But if you split your entry into three, right? So we've got this, zone here. Anywhere within this zone, we're obviously happy. All right. It would have triggered here. Yes, you would have been in a little bit of a worry here. All right. But not too much of a worry. All right. So um, that's kind of what if you'd have done this yesterday, you would have been able to close out and have a nice bit of profit. Lots of you did, which is brilliant. Now that's obviously one thing that I think just be aware of. Every time that you are trading, or if a trade's not going particularly your direction. Try not to go too heavy, too quick. 'Cause if you do give it a bit of a chance to breathe, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a chance to come out at a good price if you manage it properly. So part of trading is managing those bad trades. And obviously, we did have a bit of an example yesterday, but obviously managed to come out in profit, which is obviously what it's all about. All right, if your worst days, you can come out in a little bit of profit, then there's massive improvement, isn't it? And then obviously you have the days where everything just goes with you and it's flying and it's easy. Right. Let's obviously go through what has been happening. What should we be looking at? So what do? We click on the dollar. So obviously, the initial point, was obviously right. You know what? We is it going to break 19,750? It's actually smashed through. So this hasn't. This is rather than being resistance, is now support. So this should continue at least to test. I actually think we might come up and test this area here. A lot of optimism going with the dollar at the moment. And I think it's due to obviously other countries being slightly weaker too. So let's wait and see how that one pans out. But obviously we also had a bit of a recovery on yields yesterday back in this area. We want to be trading yields around here, and then that's going to give the dollar a real big push here. So yeah, that's obviously one thing that we're interested in, and obviously stocks holding. Stocks are holding, which is the main thing. They're not going anywhere. So what does that mean? That means there is optimism in the dollar. There's a bit of a risk appetite. So it means that yeah, pe pe people are kind of open to take a bit of risk. When you take a bit of risk, everyone knows you can make some more money. So that's obviously, the overall optimism we got. Yen has gone from the strongest to the weakest pair. Yes, today it's down on absolutely everything. So yeah, yen is the weakest pair of today. Um, Right, let's have a look now at what we've got coming out. So, oh, it keeps doing this investing.com. Right, let's go on to economic calendar. I was literally on it this morning. So, AUD unemployment rate dropped like everyone else's. Very, very, very interesting. However, employment change wasn't as good as expected. So, that's obviously a little bit in between for Aussie. We got a couple of speakers for Euro, then we got obviously then we got Bostic speaking for the US dollar, then we got some Fed manufacturing and jobless claims. Jobless claims supposed to come in a little bit better, so it'd be interesting to see what happens here. We then got continuing jobless claims. So a little bit of a jobs afternoon. I actually think this could come out pretty good and boost the dollar. I think they're going to want to see dollar up at potentially close to 98 would be very, very interesting towards the end of the week. So let's wait and see. Like I've said, we obviously want to play the game, all right? And so, the reason obviously we have our, zones, all right, is we want the dollar to come down and tap this and hold because that's where our GBP USD, zone is, our Euro USD zone is, and then it can capitalize, So you want to almost be wishing for all these things to happen. And I think that's the beauty of it. Like I mentioned, with three entries, you're going to be wishing for a trade to go into drawdown, so it taps all of your entries as opposed to panicking when it's in drawdown. It's all about shifting your you know, mindset. Yes, we're obviously very pro the dollar this morning, but we want the dollar to pull back. We want it to weaken, so it's going to trigger our entries before obviously we come, shooting forward. So it's always about thinking, where do we want everything to go? Right, let's go through our positions. We got USD JPY and a little bit of drawdown. We did enter here. It was looking great. It's now popped back down a bit, but let's wait and see. I'm not too uncomfortable with where it is. I think there's obviously a lot of support here. We then also got the 200 EMA below it as well. So there's a couple of brick walls there. So let's wait and see. GBP USD, I really, really want this one to trigger. I don't know if it's going to. That's quite a big gap to close. So let's wait and see. Euro, I wanted this to trigger as well. You can see here trend clean. Just obviously want dollar to. We can, like I'd said, my anticipation was for dollar to come back into 97,500. This should then trigger our entries before we get a nice rebound off. That's what we're constantly looking for all the time. We've obviously got Aussie here running in a little bit of drawdown. We've got gold in nice profit. That was a perfect gold entry there. If we don't look at this on a lower time frame, look at this. Tapped our entry and off we go. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Couldn't ask for any more. Couldn't ask for any more. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about is here, but obviously let's wait and see. But yeah, gold carrying us nicely. So yeah, that's obviously about all that we are interested in. We haven't had Euro trigger, haven't had GBP trigger. AUD has triggered a little bit of drawdown. We've got USD JPY triggered a little bit of drawdown, and gold in lovely, lovely bit of profit. So that's obviously what we are looking at this morning. Um, Greg, I did the three-way entry yesterday and got out without a loss. Nice, good man. So that's obviously the beauty of it is sometimes it's the protection of your account, which is just as important as the going. Everyone when they're traded is all out and out attack. And I think sometimes if you just sit back um, and let your account tick up slowly. That is the most important, thing to obviously happen. Thomas, I did the two entries and kept until this morning. Dull, yeah, not not the best idea. I always like to make a bit of a rule. I did many a sleepless nights in the early years of trading. I'll be waking up at 3 in the morning. I'll be, trading all, night, just watching it. I wouldn't sleep. Then I'd have to go to work. So I make a bit of a rule that come probably the latest I'm going to be in a trade was about, last night, probably about 7 o'clock. I think I was still in it, which is late for me. But I don't want to go to bed with a trade open. I don't want to. And nine times out of ten, I promise you, you get a dip down just before the kind of market close, a couple of hours before. I reckon nine times out of ten, if you don't take that chance, you're gonna, yeah, regret it. It's happened to me twice recently, and I was obviously glad that I swallowed a little bit of a, loss. But like I mentioned, overall, pretty happy. We had a little bit of profit yesterday. So, but obviously, it wasn't clean. We had a very, very smooth, clean morning, and then obviously afternoon was, yeah, it was just a complete, management. So, does anyone have any more questions? Any more for any more? Happy to answer. Or you know what you guys, yeah, if you want me to make up any videos, obviously I've got the boot camp coming, not next week, the week after, so that's going to be good. And obviously I'm planning an in-person event. I'm just working out dates. I've got yeah, I've just trying to work it out. So it'll either be on 7th of March or I think the 21st of March potentially. So I will keep everyone updated. There's going to be about 12 spots, I think, to come along. So I'll keep everybody updated. Um, Right. Well, if there's no more questions, I will hold it off here. Have a great day, everyone. And yeah, that's obviously, make sure we stay rigid. Markets aren't very easy at the moment, like we've explained, but obviously we are, navigating them very, very well. So let's make sure that we keep up the good work. And so, yeah, have a good day, guys. Have a good day.